Good day to you, one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Do we finally have some good news on the AI front? Apparently Google and Universal Music have negotiated or are negotiating a deal over AI deep fakes, as the new technology that can mimic artists' voices has been seen as a growing threat. We talked about this before, didn't we? But I'm going to talk about it again because, bears repeating. Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Is this our chance at fighting back against the AI technology that is causing us to worry about the future of music and the future of being a working musician? Before we get into all that, I need to talk to you about my Patreon, which there's a link to probably there or there somewhere. Some of you may or may not know that every month I host a group Zoom call night with a small group of enthusiasts. They happen once a month. They're an hour long each, and it's really great fun. Sometimes I ask you questions. Sometimes they ask me questions. Sometimes we do quizzes. And it's just an opportunity to get to know each other and further strengthen the bond between I and you. If that's something you're interested in, have a look at the links wherever they are. They are a lot of fun, and you can join a group via the Patreon link and just join the personal chat tier. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Okay, that's it. Rockfeed have done a video report on this AI thing, so I'm going to respond to all of it using their video.
What is going on? This story just dropped from Financial Times about an hour ago, and they claim to have sources connected to both Google and Universal Music Group, and they say they are negotiating over the rights to license financially The Voice.
So I think what they're talking about there is, as opposed to licensing a master recording of a performance by an individual, they're now saying that the unique nuances and timbre in a human voice is something that you must license in order to be able to deep fake it using AI. Is that what the negotiation is concerned?
Way that artists sound when they sing.
Sorry.
Individual songs. There's already a system for that with cover songs. There's a system for that with licensing the recordings that the record labels often own already. What we're talking about is AI generated content that sounds very, very similar to the artist's voices.
So it's a little bit like a likeness, isn't it? Like if somebody does, I suppose if somebody made a cartoon of Freddie Mercury with somebody who sounds like Freddie Mercury singing a song, an original song, is it fair to use the likeness of an existing artist? I mean, obviously without their consent, he's not here to offer such approval, really. I mean, I'm pulling Freddie Mercury out of the ether, really, because it could be anybody, really.
What is bizarre to me is that the record labels are seemingly getting in on the action. This is not content that they funded. This is not content that they financed.
Yes, but the way a record company approaches, the way a record company works is you have some degree of exclusivity. Like, so for example, say there's a band called Aero Jones. I just came up with that. That's pretty good. Aero Jones have like an amount of recorded output, and the singer of Aero Jones, Stephen Ruffer's voice is very, very distinctive. So I think what's happening here is like there's an exclusivity. Big hit records have given Aero Jones £1 million just to license for the right to exploit all of their recordings exclusively for a period of time. But then somebody else comes along and makes something that sounds like Stephen Ruffer from the Aero Jones music band, and in fact used AI to create music that sounds like Aero Jones anyway, and is releasing it elsewhere. It's a likeness of something that they have the exclusive rights to exploit. So it's not very fair I suppose the argument that the record company would have is that it's not very fair that they can't cash in on that too, I suppose, right? Okay, so now we're going to look at the Financial Times article itself.
But here we go. Google and Universal Music Group are in talks to license artists' melodies and voices for songs generated by artificial intelligence as the music business tries to monetize one of its biggest threats.
If you can't beat them, force them into submission.
We are this close to people being able to make indistinguishable recreations of musicians' voices. Whether or not the labels own that, though, is a whole nother thing. If they're recreating a song that's already been...
I don't know. So it's like... You know when, like, somebody has a special event, like perhaps, you know, just, and you hire a lookalike. So you get lookalike of, for example, you might have Donald Trump, or you might have the Queen Mother, or something like that. I mean, God rest her soul. Or somebody in the public eye and with a distinctive look, and then you get lookalikes. So does that mean that when a lookalike shows up, they're obliged to give some of their earnings to the person that they happen to look like? Is it like that?
If it's an original generation, I'm not sure the labels can really gain from that. I think the artist should be able to, but it's a little odd to me. It says the rise of generative AI has bred...
I actually think it's a pretty good thing, because if you've got, like, say, for example, The Darkness puts a record out, Darkness takes an advance from a record company and has to pay that back using an album. Say the album doesn't perform the way that the label hoped, and there's still like The Darkness still owes some money back to the label. If there's deep fake Darkness stuff that's doing well, then if they can monetize that and then offset the debt that The Darkness has to the label, thus clearing the thing, it's all profile and it's all good for everybody. I think that's one way to look at it.
Surge in deep fake songs that can convincingly mimic the voices, lyrics, or sound of established artists, often without their consent. That is very true.
I mean, consent, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Now, it says that the discussions are at an early stage here. No product launch is imminent. But the goal is to develop a tool for fans to create these tracks legitimately.
Okay. So what they're talking about is trying to not just monetize, but I think monopolize the deep fake space of AI, where, you know, if there's an app that can simulate the timbre and the nuance and the sound of a particular vocalist, then they want the rights to be able to exclusively market that, because they are in partnership with the artist concerned. This is basically taking stuff that's free and making it not free anymore. That's really what it is. And it's kind of like what happened to the whole of the music trade. You know, it's like record companies saw everybody moving away from buying records and streaming stuff illegally at first, and then found a way to make that not just legal, but, you know, monetizable, you know, on their part. And now they're entrenched in the world of Spotify and Apple Music and so on. So this is big record companies trying to figure out how to monetize stuff that's already happening without their intervention. And I think the argument that it's unfair on the artists is a bit of a smokescreen, really, because it's unfair on them is what they really mean. You know, I don't think they're going to be asking the artists to chip in for the legal fees here, because it's only them that are really going to benefit from it. Well, mostly them that are going to benefit from it. So the exclusive right to simulate something, when right now, if you pay for the AI program, the rest, whatever you do with it is free.
And pay the owners of the copyrights for it. Said people.
But there isn't copyright. There's no copyright on... I suppose what they're asking to do is make copyright on timbre and cadence and expression of a voice, I suppose. But where does it end? I mean, you do that on guitar solos as well? Or what?
Artists would have the choice to opt in. So that answers that question. The artist will get a choice as to whether or not they participate in this marketplace where you can take a voice of a band and go, make it sound like this or make it do that. There are so many questions, though. what happens, and this is a very real possibility, what happens if someone makes a version of a song that's original using this artist's voice that went extremely viral and may overshadow some songs in their catalog? Is that possible?
Of course it's possible. In fact, that's the goal, isn't it?
It absolutely is possible. Is it possible for bands like Metallica and things like that? Maybe not. But there are many bands where the possibility exists for someone to generate a song using AI technology that could potentially go so viral it overshadows. Are fans going to request them to play these songs?
That is actually a really great question. Learn the fucking song and play it. If you're earning off it and then fans want to hear it, why wouldn't you? Just play it. I mean, let's face it. If you are one of those sort of spiritual individuals, as I am, that believes that the songs are in the ether, AI is just grabbing those songs out of the ether. Maybe? Is that possible? Or do you need to have a human spirit to be able to grab those? All of these are just stupid suggestions that pop into my head. You can use the comment section below to discuss this. I mean, I've often thought, like, when you write a song and it's kind of like, oh, it's all really easy, and take I Believe in a Thing Called Love, for example. It's just, oh, okay, and then you just follow your fingers around. Feels like there's a song in the room and you're just pulling it out of the air. Sometimes it feels like that, and maybe that's what AI could do. It could be like one of those telescopes that's always trained on a certain part of the galaxy, just waiting for a spaceship to go past. Just waiting. Maybe when a song comes through the ether, there's AI technology can realize it in your own voice. Maybe you use it like that. Maybe I don't even need to bother singing anymore. It's fucking awesome. I can just sit there and type into the computer, oh, do something that sounds like Justin Hawkins doing a really good song for Darkness, and then just press enter, sit back and watch the royalties. Watch the royalties flood in. Who knows? Maybe that's what I already do.
But it says as AI has gained traction, some big stars have expressed anxiety about their work will be diluted by fake versions of their songs and voices. Exactly. What?
Some big stars have expressed anxiety that their work will be diluted by fake versions. God damn it. If you're writing great songs, then this isn't an issue. It really isn't. Like if, say for example, Dolly Parton wrote a Dolly Parton original song, beautiful song, like all of her songs, sang it. Her voice is amazing. Awesome. It's a great record. And then some AI does something that's also great. It doesn't diminish the greatness of her own work. I mean, if there's a marketplace flooded by AR things that are really similar to an existing artist's oeuvre, the onus is on them to repopulate the marketplace with real songs that came from your heart, This isn't an issue. If anything, it creates competition in the marketplace, but you're competing against what you should be doing or what a computer thinks you should be doing. I'm finding it difficult to see a downside in that respect, really. I just think it's going to make people more productive because the competition is going to be good for us, I think. It's competing with yourself. It's kind of like, it's going to stop laziness for a start. Or you can embrace it, and if you sign up to that thing and you allow your ego to accept that a computer might actually be better than you at what you do, but you can still, if you allow, if you opt into this system that they're proposing, you can allow that to happen and just enjoy the money. What's the big deal, guys?
Fake versions that sounds really good, and some of them will, a lot of them will. What happens if it overshadows their work? It says the issue was thrust into the spotlight earlier this year when an AI...
I actually think the only people that should be anxious about that are the ones that know that they're not very good, Because, like, if it's silty, sewagey pop music, which I often malign, then maybe they deserve it. Maybe that's, like AI knows exactly how to do that because we can all see how they do that. It's only one step away from the, typing something into a laptop and pressing enter and then just waiting for it to happen is only one step away from the process that a lot of those records use to become records in the first place. You know what I'm saying? It's all fucking nerds with laptops anyway. So what's the big deal?
New song mimicked the voices of Drake in The Weeknd, went viral online. UMG, home to Drake, Taylor.
I mean, there just aren't enough Drake records in the world. I've said that for a long time.
Drake in April slammed another song that used AI to mimic his voice, calling it the final straw. Rapper Ice Cube has described such clone tracks as demonic.
I mean, I think didn't they used to say that imitation was the highest form of flattery? Didn't they used to say that?
Other artists have embraced the technology. You have artists like Grimes. There are a lot of artists out there that do also embrace this. She says, there's some good stuff, she told Wired Magazine this week. They're so in line with what my new album might sound like. It was sort of disturbing. On the other hand, I'm like, oh, sick. I get to live forever. I'm into self-replication. The chief executive of Warner Music
Enough about her sex. It doesn't matter.
Tuesday told investors that with the right framework in place, AI could enable fans to pay their heroes the ultimate compliment through a new level of user-driven content, including new cover versions and mashups.
That's actually how I see it, I think. I think it's just a bit of fun. What's going on, guys? Why are we worried about this?
Okay, so let's just put it this way. If I want to do a really good AI-generated version of an artist band, and I pay them for that, can I also go shoot a really good music video? Can I shoot that music video, and can that music video go on to get 5 million, 10 million views? Yes, it can.
But it will have the music that is licensed to the thing. So if it gets 10 million views, the record company will be collecting some of that revenue on your behalf. So what's the point here?
Can I put it on Spotify? It sounds like you can. It's getting really crazy. There's a lot of... Can I make a lyric video? I'm telling you, there are a lot of questions that come...
All of those things are monetizable. The icy grip of the big record companies is already strangling those outlets that he's mentioned there, and those things are already monetized. There isn't an issue with AI generated stuff that's monetizable by the artists that are being mimicked. I mean, once you opt into this thing, it's only revenue. That's all it is. I think the difficult thing is going to be for the artists that opt out, and the ones that don't want to do this or don't want to allow computers to simulate them. If you don't want that, it's going to be difficult to avoid, because I think people will do it anyway, So I think the choice is make money from it or fight it, fight the impossible fight and spend a good few years of your life doing that, and a hell of a lot of money in fucking legal expenditure, I would imagine. And I think one of the things that this brilliant reporter from Rockfeed might have overlooked really is the one thing you cannot replicate with AI at the moment is the experience of going to a live music concert featuring real human musicians, fingers, wood, metal.
The good takeaways is that the artists are going to be able to opt in. When I first read this, I'm like, are they just doing this without people's permission? No, they are not. So I have no problem with any artist who wants to be a part of it being a part of it, and any artist who doesn't want to be a part of it not being a part of it. So it sounds like this is a way for them to determine who wants to be a part, and then they can defend the artists who want nothing to do with it.
I think in this instance, we're not talking about AI stuff replacing humans, which that is one of the huge issues that the film industry is facing with writers and so on. But I still don't think there's any substitute for an individual human being writing a song and singing it. I just think the stuff happens in a voice that we don't have the technology to simulate. We really don't. I mean, you can get somewhere near it with the timbre, and you can code stuff to make it do the same thing that a voice generally does. But there's something magical in a human performance that is always unexpected, and I don't know, you just never you can never simulate a human. Maybe not right now anyway. I mean, I do understand all the fear though. It's a bit sort of cybernet or whatever it's called, cybertech, whatever that company was that sent John Connor what did he do again? Sent John Connor foot backwards with a robot and what, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's terrifying. But use the comment section below to give me your POV. I feel like I'm not seeing the issue because I just don't think we're there yet where I don't think you can actually... I just think it's going to make people work harder. I mean, pop music, you can probably do it. You can probably type in, do something that sounds like the pop music that's happening right now, but with this person's voice, and it would probably be very, very convincing. I mean, I haven't tested it myself because I don't care. Justin Hawkins rides again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and watch one of these 2 videos. Thank you very much to Rockfeed. We'll put a link to your thing there. And take it easy, guys. Nice one. See you on the eyes. Yeah.